You guys, darkness falls. If you see how dark it is, it's midday. The eclipse is happening, and it's really freaky. Um, and of course, my lawnmower or like our lawnmower is coming right now of all times. I'm like, why would you mow lawns when the eclipse is happening? It's so weird to me. Um, but I'm very irritated by it. And it's freaking me out, to be honest. I have to clean. My mom was on a trip. I'm not looking because I don't know, it's not worth it to me to look, but I'm experiencing it. I'm in an area with 85% totality. So it's not like the whole sun is gone, but you can see how dark it is in here. So it's kind of freaky. Anyways, I have to do so much cleaning. My mom is like already almost back. So I just got hit with a bunch of like irritation all at once. Oh gosh, I need to take this mouse off because I'm gonna have to move you guys. I hope I don't unplug the wrong thing. Okay, we're good. Anyways, lots of updates kind of. You can share it in the Discord bot if you'd like. But I've got to get in the kitchen because I've got to do some dishes. I almost called this stream a different title, but I decided not to because the eclipse is rare. It's quite rare. So we're not going to be using this title at any more of an applicable time. Great, but I'm glad that you're here though, but you might be the only one. You got secret eclipse edition. Oh my god, it's so dark in here. I don't like this. It's freaky. So freaky. Gosh. Okay. I'm gonna move y'all to the kitchen. I've got to move to the kitchen. Gosh. Okay, this is always really risky because I don't know. Like, for some reason, if I mess up, oh my god, if I mess up the transfer, it will ruin the stream. I don't know why, but for some reason on YouTube, accidentally bump the mic or mess mic, then you literally lose everything. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how to set this up. You guys are really going to get the freaking dishwashing sounds, I guess. We're going to do some dishwashing ASMR. Gay ASMR. Look at that. Can smash the cupboard into it. This is a really weird angle. I don't know why. I'm always like weirdly paranoid when I stream because I feel like there's like drastic. I feel like I have like 5 million social security numbers like all around, and that's not the case. But anyways, I was like, I know I have to do this because my mom's coming home. She was on like a trip, kind of like a shut up, She was on like a kind of like a birthday trip type of deal. And I thought they were going to try to see the eclipse, but apparently not. So she's like already almost back. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was not expecting you. I don't know. People are so weird. I feel like with this eclipse, people are either like, the world is ending and we're all going to die. Or they're like, I don't even give a shit about it. Don't even care. Um, it's just weird. Okay. I feel like I had so much to say, and then I feel like my flow was just interrupted. Oh my gosh, but what does that even mean? Oh, it's so dark in here. This is freaky. I don't like this. I'm gonna make some frosting today. I hope it's not too loud, but whatever. I gotta do this, and I figured I would do it while I was streaming because you guys will make it easier or like nicer. But yeah, lots of updates. So lots of health updates, I guess. Hello, Doris. What do you mean you're not messing with it? Oh, like watching it? Yeah, it's currently happening now. So, God, people are so freaky. I don't know why I don't know. I'm very like irritable right now. I'm having like a moment of agitation with this eclipse because it's wigging me out because I can't help it. It's happening. It's over me right now. It is. It's happening right now, and people are like being all weird, and the lawnmower's here, and I was just like, "What is going on?" And then my mom is coming home, and she's gonna have a huge cow, and she sees what a mess it is because it's a total mess. And so I'm just all kinds of messed up right now. I'm discombobulated, and I don't like it because it's kind of like the sky is it's like an orangey gray. It's weird. Super weird. She's been gone for a few. She's been gone for a few days, like over the weekend. But I was just like, I was expecting her to come home not during the eclipse, not now. I don't know. Like, so it's just weird. It's like people are either like, the eclipse is the biggest deal ever, or they're acting like it's not happening. And I'm just like, oh, because I thought that she was going on that trip to see the eclipse. I thought that was the whole point. Because they were going to an area with totality. But where I am, it's 85% totality. So it's not like nighttime outside, but it's dark. And it's currently happening. I think it might be starting to pass, but it was like happening when I started the stream. And I'm just like, ugh, it's freaky. Freaky, freaky. Freaky Friday. I don't know. I don't think so, Doris, because she's literally like traveling and doing all this stuff. She's going to the grocery store like during the eclipse. And she really wanted me to clean the upstairs bathroom. And I was avoiding it like the plague. But I have some news. I have a lot of updates. So basically, I did a collab with Not David last night for OF. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? No, but I actually did a collab, and I love that on this channel. I actually talked slight shit, not total shit, but I talked a little bit of shit for the hell of it. And I said I didn't think someone like Not David would ever have me on his channel, and he is. So not total shit, but yeah, I was proven wrong. But I was surprised, and so that's really cool. So I'm going to be on his channel. on, I think Thursday is the day. I have to send him a thumbnail. But we've got a new era, a new YouTube era. So I'm in my new era's era. My era's era. Yeah, he definitely does. But I kind of gave him the whole like rundown because it's kind of like interview style. We don't have a title yet, but I kind of just talk about everything. And I did talk about the thyroid stuff, which I feel like people are weird where they maybe won't like that, but it needs to be said. So I'll be back. 1 second. Yeah, we talked for a couple hours. He said he's not going to edit most of it. Like most of it is going to stay, which is cool. And so basically we just have that coming. I have to film more for this week. I didn't film anything with him for my channel, but I have an idea. And he said that he was down. But I guess I can tell you guys get the tea because you're on this channel. So the idea I have for my channel is I want to react to at least a clip or a segment of More Than Tracy T's podcast because she's so fucking boring that I literally passed out almost when I was listening to her. I actually almost fell asleep. 1 second. Okay, I'm just doing a dish check. I think we're clear. Gosh, this really didn't take that long. Anyways. Yeah, I hope so too. I don't know if it will, but usually with collabs, well, so I've had experience with collabs. I've done YouTube a long time, you guys. And I've had experience with it. And typically people exaggerate how much people you're going to get. But I've never done this where like we are in the same niche. So I've never done that before where I've collabed with somebody in the same niche completely. Because when I collabed with Charlie in the past, Charlie was, he's a vegan. He was like a vegan F-boy YouTuber. I'm not like that at all. I'm not vegan whatsoever. I never really have been. I tried veganism and that's why I hate it so much because I've actually tried it. But I'm not a vegan at all. There's literally meat on this night. Yeah, were you there during those days, Doris? Or you just knew about him? Did you remember me? Say you'll remember me. Hashtag Taylor Swift. Your 12th house. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds very, very good, Shannon. But yeah, so that era, the Charlie era, I was, we were not similar. Because he was very, like, a lot of his content, I don't know if it was purely sexual, but it had, like, a connotation of that. And then he was vegan. Okay, love that. Yeah, so basically my Charlie era was from 2018. It was April to December of 2018. And so that was that era. And I did get some subscribers, but it was drastically less. Like I think, yes, definitely, Doris. I did have a lot of I did get like 100 subscribers. So I got like around there. I think I was really low when I first went on his channel, and then it got me over 100. But he had like 12,000, you know what I'm saying? So people think it carries over so much. It typically doesn't. Typically what happens is you have to like be in the same niche, and you have to, even if you're not, you have to show up multiple times. So it's like you have to keep coming back on the channel, and then you grow each time. And so I did that with him. And at that time, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was surprised that I didn't get as many subscribers because I was dumb. But when I collabed with, then fast forward and we have the Carlin era, which happened in 2022, I was more experienced with YouTube and I knew what to expect in terms of like, oh, am I going to get so many viewers, blah, blah, blah. By the time I had started with Carlin, I had around 300 subscribers. And to be honest, that's actually not bad considering I had no niche on my channel and it was totally personal. So that actually is not bad at all. Like it was very similar to this channel and I had like 300, mostly from the Charlie days, obvi. Because when I had my moment where I canceled Charlie, I definitely got a lot of subscribers, but I also got a lot of toxic viewership. So it was tricky. It was like a tricky thing. With Carlin, we didn't have that similar of a niche either. We did, but our views are very, very different. So it's kind of like you have that kind of connection where like we both cared about some political issues that we shared, but ultimately our views were totally different. She's very left. I'm not very left at all, so it was tricky for me. And obviously the niche just wasn't there. She was becoming really big on like libertarian stuff. I'm not a libertarian. So it was just kind of tricky as far as like a crossover, but it was like a decent, like I did get more viewership from doing that. I got towards around like 500. So I got around 200 subscribers in the Carlin era, which a lot of you guys are from, which loves it, appreciate it. But yeah, I think we're now officially entering the David era. So we'll see what happens. So it's kind of funny to say that, especially since I did my eras era, my video today. I don't hate libertarians or anything. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not. And I'm certainly not a lefty libertarian. That's like a whole other level. I mean, I have no issue, but I'm just saying that isn't me. It's not going to cross over that much. But I think too, like, I didn't have a particular passion for politics. Like, I think for me, politics, it was something I had to do because of the lockdowns. I had to fight it. So that was more very specific to the time. And I just didn't know. I figured out that I wasn't going to die and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. That too, or my little short, yeah. So yeah, I just I don't know. So that, like, I feel like there wasn't that much crossover because Carlin's major thing is like the schools. That's like her best issue. And I'm not like super into the schools, you know what I'm saying? So there wasn't really that much of a connection. Of course, I did get viewership and everything, but people tend to over exaggerate how much viewership you're going to get from a collab, basically. The only time you can get a huge amount of viewership from a collaboration is if you're collabing with somebody who has like 1 million subscribers. Then you can, because the numbers are just so big. But you have to think you're going to get like, at the high level of a collab, you're going to get like maybe 10%. At the low level of a collab, you're going to get 1%. So it's important to keep things realistic. So while I do hope I can grow from working with David, my expectation, based on previous experience, he's getting around 2,000 to 3,000 views per video, which is not bad or anything. I think I'm going to get probably from the first video, I'll probably get like 30. I'll get like 1%. Now, I do think that it could be different because we really are in the same niche, this one, so it could be different. So it might actually be more of a crossover. So I'll have to see because I've never actually done that before. But he was so cool. We had a lot of fun talking and stuff. I got to know him better, and it was nice. And I will definitely be working with him more. So, because he was saying that it's difficult to find people to work with, because whether or not you transfer subscribers or whatever, it's always interesting for your audience if you have another person. It's always a benefit, right? So like even on my main channel, if I can have Not David on my main channel, it is more stimulating or interesting for my subscribers. Even if we have different styles, which our styles are not completely different. The only way I would say they're different is I'm very feminine and he's very not. He's much more on the masculine side. So the way he talks about things, he's more like logical and direct, that kind of thing. Whereas I'm more emotional, which I did talk about it in terms of the anti-FA activism. I talked about how I specifically fight this movement on an emotional wavelength because it is such an emotional movement that I feel, in my mind at least, it's very important to fight fat acceptance on an emotional level because it is so emotional. And I'm working on a new theory where I think that a lot of FA TikTok is based in ED, particularly BED. And a lot of times people use it as a justification or a way to hide the fact that they have that ED. And he didn't necessarily agree with that, which is fine, but I'll be making my case over this year because I really think it is the same, or like it's almost completely the same, basically. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, like as I grow and, fight it more, I think about it deeper and deeper in a sense. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's kind of what we talked about, because I talked about how I want to destroy the movement. Like I want to actively destroy fat acceptance. That is my intention. So my intention is not just to talk about it, make fun of them, anything like that. It's to make it basically completely unpalatable, completely laughable, ridiculous, not even considered in society. Like that's what I want. Okay, so that's my goal. And when you have that, I don't even know if you guys can hear me, but when you have that goal, you have to like actually do it, And one of the ways that it has grown so much is through emotional manipulation. So in order to fight the movement, you have to fight it emotionally because it's so emotional. That's why it appeals to a lot of, especially young women. Because in general, young women are the most emotional. So that's why they're the most at risk. Okay. So that actually was not that bad. I don't know. Every time I go to clean, it's not even that bad. I have to try to transfer the stream upstairs. If for some reason it doesn't work, it was nice knowing you guys. I'm just kidding. I'll have to restart the stream. I'm nervous because you cannot disconnect the audio. As the British would say, you can't disconnect the audio. Okay, let me try. Especially since the mower is doing his thing right in the eclipse. You gotta mow the lawn right in the eclipse. But I think the eclipse might have passed. Okay, so far so good. This is so weird. You guys never see me like actually move. Darkness. See how dark it is? Oh my God, do I have a social security number out? I don't think I do. My room is horrifically messy. That's why I need to clean it. Okay, I will be right back. If you see a random social security card, you have to not look at it, okay? I'm so paranoid. I'll be right back. We are really getting mobile here. Okay. So all my lighting is all messed up and like my whole room is messed up because I had to like deconstruct. I had to deconstruct my whole room basically because I had to like film. Oh my God, it's so dark in here. I need to set up the lights first. But anyways, so I had to like rearrange all my lighting and put it like really high to get the shot. And I will say, like, I know I talk massive shit about FAs, but it's actually kind of difficult to do a short. Like, that short actually took quite a bit of effort. So, kind of need to get my charger. Damn it, I'll be right back. Okay, I swear I'm going to be done. I'll be back up in a second. Okay. So basically I don't even know what I was saying. All I can say is it was fun. Definitely down. I wonder if you guys can hear the mower. I'm sure you can. Because I told Bob before I went live, I was like, the mower is ruining my shot of streaming. But I'm like, I'll just deal with it. I am burning up. It's hot. Okay, we're all set. Finally, that took everything. I gotta breathe. I'm just kidding. So yeah, anyways, it was crazy. Like, I know that I talk shit about them, but it was actually kind of hard to do like a full-on short and actually like have text, do the timing. Like, it took a lot of hours. It took me around the same amount of time. But granted, I was doing something that, you know, has some kind of meaning to it. but it did take a minute to do. So I never knew that. Like I had never done shorts before like that, but it was kind of tricky. So definitely understand it a bit more at this point. So yeah, it was fun though. It was fun to do like my cheesy dance and stuff. Because I had thought about the actual like choreography and whatever of it for a long time. Because I was trying to like, wow, that light is so bright. It's crazy. I was trying to that's awesome. These lights are amazing. I'm so grateful to Lisa for these lights. They are great. Okay. It's literally like the sun just came up. The sun came up, you guys. It's over. Promise. Look at my hair. My hair is so like, ugh, it's greasified. But I am going to shower today, but I know. I think it's kind of over. It's still kind of gloomy, but I think it's over. It was right when I started that it was all freaky weird. I have clothes all over. I got everything going on. I don't know where my laundry basket is. Oh, it's downstairs. Oh my God. I'll be right back. I swear, you guys. Jeez. Okay. Okay, so we should get into some diet tea or whatever, what have you. So basically, I'm kind of transitioning a little bit from eating like the candy and stuff. I think I have to like switch it over and do more of like, I have to do higher protein, I realized. So I'm kind of doing something just a little different where it's like I have less sugar, more meat, basically. I think because I was still doing the sugar focus because it was winter, or, you know, kind of still winter towards the end of winter, beginning of spring. But basically, it's changed, I think, where now it's like I'm getting hungrier and the sugar isn't satisfying anymore. So it was hard for not David to understand that like the concept I was saying. But I think it's because he's never been fat. So it's difficult to like explain to somebody who's never been fat that like ice cream is more satiating than chicken breast for a fat person, for like a very super fat person. Because he was just like, what? Which I appreciate the back and forth because it's always good to like have your ideas challenged. But it's because like it's the way your system absorbs things. It's just different. So lately, like when I was having my peeps and stuff, I'm not able to stay in my deficit because I'm too hungry. So it's like not working anymore. And so yesterday I was like, let me try to actually do this a little different. Let me just have higher fat. So I had like a big thing of sausage. And I just had fruit for carbs. And I had like a little bit of frosting, which the frosting is made out of heavy whipping cream and powdered sugar. And then I put chocolate powder in it. So it was this very like densely fat packed frosting. And I just had like 3 tablespoons and I was full. Okay. It like really makes you full. And then I had the sausage. It was like a pound of sausage. And I wasn't that hungry. I was able to stay in my full on deficit. So I think I'm at that stage where my body is like really wanting protein. So I think it makes sense because I'm at a similar level of hypo to where I was in 2022 when I wasn't in a deficit. Because when I started my deficit, it made me start over my thyroid journey. It was a huge hit to the thyroid. And it took me from like being relatively okay in the summer of 2022 to like starting over, like really low. And so it's like I had to heal my thyroid twice, once in a surplus and once in a deficit. And so I'm kind of at that good zone that I was in 2022, but I'm in a deficit. So it's really good because it just means that losing weight and deficit and all that stuff, it's going to be easier. I don't have severe hypo, like it's just done. So basically at that time in 2022, when I had a similar level of hypo and a surplus, like I said, I was eating like 5,000 calories a day at that point. I was craving protein massively. So really in spring of 2022, I was eating like a chicken every single day, like legit. And so I'm kind of in that zone again where I'm really craving protein. So I'm not going to be eating a chicken every single day, but I am going to probably be doing like a pound of meat or something, like a very substantial amount of meat each day for a while because I kind of need it. So that's fun. And then I've been doing, because I still eat fruit and stuff. Like I had apples today too, but it feels weird. It feels different. It kind of feels like keto light. And it's like a weird feeling. And then I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to make sure I do my form because I have to get my form in check because I've been doing it in a way where it's more cardio oriented. So I need to do like, really get the form in, and I might have to adjust my weights. So when I go to the gym today, I have to really like adjust everything. I have to go up in some weights and down in other weights because I'm not getting full form. So I need to like get my ish together basically. So that's kind of my experience of this eclipse, I guess, is it's very like health focused for me. I really was happy to post that short today because like it was such a capstone moment and it's like a huge statement of like, I'm not in this crisis zone anymore. I'm not that bad anymore. It's over, the BED is done. Like it's in remission totally. And so just really like kind of feeling that exhale of that is major. And that's kind of what the eclipse means for me. I don't think this eclipse is a bad eclipse. Everybody keeps acting like it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually good. I think it's a sign of good things to come. That's what I honestly feel. And a lot of people are just so negative. But I think the one in 2017, that one was more of an eclipse that was a sign of challenges to come or like difficulties to come. So it's like from 2017, we were kind of building up to 2020. And so I think that eclipse was bringing in that energy, that very, very difficult energy. Whereas, gosh, sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Whoa. This is so weird. My cord's all messed up. My equipment is so crazy. Okay. Whereas this is kind of like the de-escalation. So after like everything, because I think the major transit probably of our entire lives was 2020. That aspect, that triple Capricorn conjunction, it's so much that it's definitely one of those events astrologically where it builds up before and builds up after, possibly over like a 40-year period, honestly, which is insane to say. but especially the 3 years before and the 3 years after. So we're kind of out of that zone. And it's not that everything's going to be amazing now. I just think that things are going to be more normal. It's kind of like that massive crisis phase or that really, really insanity nightmare world aspect that we've been in. It's going to end, basically. I think personally, this eclipse, it has to do with the end of wokeness, because Aries has a lot to do with identity, right? So therefore it does have to do with identity politics. And no, I didn't, Caleb, sorry. But basically, identity politics, I think this eclipse is bringing the end of that, and it's the beginning of something different. And so I think things are going to start actually improving, especially culturally, and politically, but it's really like this eclipse is the sign of that better day coming. So while I do think this eclipse is very powerful, I don't think it's bad. I think it signifies the end of bad, the end of a bad time, the end of a difficult period, and more of a brighter time on the horizon. And it won't be fully bright or fully recovered probably until 2026. I've been saying that a lot, but we'll start having recovery in 2025 rather than it continuing to get worse. But this time is really the mindset shift that occurs. Oh gosh, nice, Caleb. This is the mindset shift that occurs. So this is like where people's minds are changing, and then you have the political change that comes later in the year or next year in a lot of countries. But this is where that identity aspect shifts. And I think that's what it signifies. And it doesn't mean that people are going to become right wing or people are going to become, left wing or whatever. Like, wokeness is really something different than right left dichotomy, in my opinion. It's very like algorithm. It has to do with algorithmic manipulation. It's AI driven. And so I think that that's starting to end. And that kind of division is starting to shift, because that's what I think this eclipse represents, honestly. So I think also with Pluto in Aquarius, it represents a passing of the baton. So a lot of the Gen X hyper like black and white thinking mindsets and their kind of perverse idea of fairness. So like, you're a woman, that means you're always a victim. You're a man, you're always an oppressor, right? Like these kinds of Gen X constructs, I think they're going to start weakening because the baton is going to be passed towards millennials. And then I think culturally the baton is passed to Gen Z, where Gen Zs will finally actually start being creative, because you guys haven't at all. So I think that that's going to start shifting this year too, because we have that generational shift occurring. But that does have political implications, because a lot of like very woke millennials, they are losers. So they're not going to be in a position of status unless if they're astroturfed by boomers and Gen Xers that are woke, because they don't have a work ethic. They're lazy, they're addicts, they can't do anything. So the types of millennials that are going to be taking over institutions, they're going to be more logical, probably, because you have to be, And then I think a lot of the Gen Zs who struggle today, they'll be thriving tomorrow, because a lot of Gen Zs are overly spoiled. And so they don't have any concept of like doing anything for themselves. And I think that they're going to really struggle. I'll have to listen to it for sure, Caleb. I'll send it. I'll just reply to you in DM. I didn't even see that you sent me that. So I don't know. I'm really busy a lot lately because I've been doing the full-time YouTube, and it's a lot. To be honest, it is. Especially because I still have my other job, which is really fugly. So it's difficult. But yeah, I've had a lot of like Aries, it's my sixth house. So I've had a lot of sixth house focus of like health and work because obviously this is like a major time where I'm focusing on that. So it's challenging because it's very overwhelming and like my health is weird still, but it's just better. It's kind of like the issue is that as you burn more fat, you release more hormones. And so basically, I have to deal with the fact that I'm having more burn off. I wouldn't play a song, Caleb, because copyright is major and they'll take the stream down. So I can't play it on stream. Anyways, the hormonal aspect, it's a little challenging because you start to have a lot of burn off. And I had this happen a lot in 2022. So like my sleep cycle is trash. Like I know Bot knows because I was messaging Bot at like 4 a.m., which I love that Bot was awake. I love that so much. I literally told Bot, I was like, I'm so glad you have insomnia because I'm so bored at like 4 a.m. because my metabolism is kind of trash in the sense that I'm getting a lot of burn off. It's like gearing up. So I'm going to start being up all night. It's kind of like manic phase, But it's just funny because that's how I was in 2022, where it's like I had this like very manic energy and it's kind of coming back. So it's like I can do it. I'm just nervous about being burned out. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just building up further and further. I'm excited because I get kind of in like a combat mode when I feel like this, and it's entertaining for you guys. So, like, I am going to hopefully be streaming with David. And he said I could just come on whenever, kind of thing. And I said, well, I was like, maybe if I have a bitch attack, I can just come on, Because that would be fun. Because I like venting and stuff about stuff. So I think that'll be funny. I'm up at 5. Wow. That's healthier though, Caleb. I think that's good. I'm not advocating for being up all night. I'm not. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's because I'm burning fat. So it's like releasing hormones. And so I can't sleep at night. So in my case anyways, because I think my metabolism is just a lot faster than it has been in previous years. And especially now that sugar is becoming like, I get hungry if I have it, then it's like I have to eat meat and less sugar, less carb. And so that like probably increases fat burning too. So it's like a lot. So I'm like, ooh, damn, this is going to get kind of crazy pretty soon. So I'll probably be up till like 6 a.m. this summer. I'll be in my midnights era. I'm just kidding. It could always pass though. That's the thing. I could always reach a point where I lose enough weight where the hormone balance shifts and then it just gets better. So, but yeah, I'm going into like a major fat burning phase right now, which is fine because I can use the energy from the fat to hopefully launch YouTube further, It's really hard when you don't have any energy. And that's how I was last year. Like I was just traumatized and tortured and sad and weird and serotonin-y and all this stuff. And I'm not serotonin-y anymore. So, or like it's really going away. So that's the word you guys haven't heard me say quite as much lately. Can't wait because our place is too cheap. Oh, our prices at our restaurant are increasing. Okay. Well, hopefully people can afford it. I don't know how the economy is there, but here people are about to like, ooh, it's rough. Like I can feel it because my work is not doing great at all. So it's definitely starting to affect me. the non-recession recession that's clearly happening. But yeah, the magical booming economy is really showing its effects. But I'm hoping that some of my work was messed up because of the eclipse. So I'm hoping that people were like, away. But if not, ooh, it's gonna get a little crazy. But that's why I'm like, I know I have to change jobs. And like I told you guys, because I'm like basically at the poverty line. Well, I am at the poverty line, not basically. It's not that hard for me to shift to YouTube. So it's kind of scarring, but it is like a weird thing where sometimes being poor is good because you have nothing to lose. Which I know that's really negative to say, but it's a fact. So it's like I probably wouldn't be pursuing this if I had like a bomb-ass job where I was making tons of money. I'd be like, yeah, YouTube is a waste of time. I'm not going to do it. But because I don't, it's kind of like, oh, I guess I can just do it because I'm like dying anyways. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't matter. I got nothing to lose, really. So that's kind of the mindset I have, which I know is kind of toxic. But, I guess whatever gets me going in that sense. If it finally gets me to launch this, then that's what's important. So I think it will, Either that or we lose customers. Yes, that's true. Yeah, so I think that it's important to just consider these things, I guess. But especially because I'm going to the gym and I'm really prioritizing my body and like my physical health, I can't always like I don't know. I have to prioritize that, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So it's like you have to decide, like, am I going to just try to kill myself to push really, really hard to get as much money as I can in this situation? Or am I going to just take the L, be poor, and get my health better and hopefully ultimately get out of the situation, that's the decision I've chosen for a lot of the past years. And I am starting to get better now. So it did pay off. So I don't know. It's an interesting dichotomy or a choice, but I've done that before where I had a job where I was making decent money. It wasn't that much money, but it was decent. And I hated it. And I really was suffering. Like that was part of like why my health deteriorated. There was a lot of factors that led to my health deteriorating so much in 2020. Okay, that makes sense, Caleb. Well, because you're still in school too, right? So that's tough. But I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have summer break. It's confusing for me. I never know what's going on. Yeah, I have energy. I really do. I mean, that's the good thing about this weird manic energy is that I have energy. The only issue I have is really the sleep side, because if my sleep schedule is trash, in the sense that it's really late, it's difficult financially. So I'm going to have to I hope it gets better after this eclipse. I really do. It's been horrible. I've been really struggling with that balance. But we'll see. We shall see. Oh, okay. Yeah. You just got to see what you can do, and balance it out the best you can. That's kind of my mindset anyways. But I love doing YouTube. I love YouTube. I loved filming with David yesterday. It was great. And yeah, I just have to see what happens. Like, I have to film today. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so hard. Like that kind of stuff is hard. I really don't like having two jobs. I absolutely hate it, actually. And that's one of the reasons probably why I haven't transitioned to is because I never wanted to actually have the two job phase, you know, because it's really difficult. It's difficult to work all day, make barely anything, then come home and then have to film again, or have to film, not make much on that. I am making more though than I used to. And as the momentum continues, it is definitely benefiting my channel. I just have to keep going. So it's tricky. It's a tricky balance, for sure. Gosh, I can't believe this room is almost clean. Yeah, it's tough, Caleb, honestly. I mean, I think it's harder if you're more on the introvert side too, especially. Like, I'm very introverted. So when I worked at the call center, it was horrible. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Because the way that our economy is structured in America, everything is a service job, which is horrible, especially if you're introverted. So it's like very anti-introvert in America, super anti-introvert. So everything is basically like service industry, talking to people, that kind of stuff. Every single job is like a service job or a customer service job, which for like extroverts, it's not a big deal. They can handle it and they're fine. But in an introvert, it's really difficult. And I just feel like there should be more than one option, you know, for a job, basically. Yeah, service economy. I mean, and that's not good. So I'm not a fan of like giving up all our jobs to the rest of the world, basically. But that's where we're at, you know. We only have a service economy and it's just not great. But if that's what I'm dealt, then I would rather do YouTube because YouTube is still definitely a more introverted job because you're alone a lot of the time. And I like that I can choose when I work. Like there's just certain aspects that I really hate about having a normal job. Like, I don't like having a set schedule. I don't like having a boss. I don't like having to listen to somebody. I don't like having to deal with somebody being a total bitch and I can't say anything back. Like I don't like those kinds of things a lot. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I'm willing to deal with living in a situation where I don't have to do those things. So it's like I'm willing to be entrepreneurial. I'm willing to work for myself. I'm willing to work more hours for less money if it means I don't have to do those things. So I think a lot of people, they tend to interpret it as like, oh, you're so lazy, or oh, you don't want to have a normal job, or oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I really don't. Like, I will actually grin and bear it. The bad side of doing, you know, a gig economy job or a YouTube or something. Because for me, it's just so much, like my quality of life is so much less when I'm doing like a service job. And it's not worth it. It's not worth the money. So I don't know. I just get frustrated with the way that people talk about things because they talk about it as like everybody has to do the exact same thing. Everybody has to have the same job. Everybody has to do the same everything. And it's like, no, you know, you don't. Like I would much rather do an activism than that, and a lot of people don't want to. They wouldn't want to do that. They don't like conflict. They don't like fighting. They don't like argumentation, talking about things. They don't like the repetition of it, but I'm fine with all that. I'm fine with it. I work 7 to, gosh, I don't know what that is. Probably 4. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I get that. Caleb. I mean, I work a lot too. I don't ever go out. Like I've made a lot of sacrifices in my health journey and in this journey. Like I definitely have. Cause like I never can just buy something. Like if you think about like, oh, I'm gonna go to the store and I want to buy this thing. I can't do that. I can't just buy that thing ever for years, So it's like when you're at the poverty line or when you're in that zone, I'm just barely under it. So it's like I'm almost not in that category. So I think people think, oh, you're fine. But it's like, no, I'm not. Like I never, and it used to be even worse. Like if you think about, like I had to deal with horrific chub rub on my pants, in my thighs when I was working in 2021 and 2022 because I couldn't afford a $7 pair of pants because it was an excess expense. It was an extra expense. Like my margins are so thin. And so even like even though I made more money last year, the inflation completely canceled it out. So I might be in a zone now where I can buy a pair of pants, but that's about it. Like it has to be something super essential, something that I absolutely need, and I'm not going to buy a pair of pants. You have to think about it. Like I go to Walmart and sometimes I pretend that I'm going to buy shorts or something, and I don't because I can't afford any excess expense. So I have to just look at it. And then like right now, my finances are not doing well at all. And typically it would be getting better around this time, and it's not. And it's, I think, because could be the eclipse, or it could be that the economy is finally taking the long shit that it's been getting towards doing, So it's very scary for me because my margins are so thin as it is. But as I said before, having such a thin margin and living in poverty, basically, it does make shifting to YouTube easier because I don't have to make very much to cancel it out. So I guess there's freedom in it, It's a very weird time in my life because like I'm getting healthier. So I have more options. Like I didn't have any options last year. I was just not okay, especially mentally last year. It was very hard. But this year I am fine. It's like I do have options. I could try to get a normal job, or I could, yeah, basically, or I could try to do YouTube or try to do something. And I'm deciding to do the weird thing because I felt in a lot of senses called to do it just because like I've done it for so many years. It's clearly a passion of mine. I clearly love it. And so it's like I should just do it. And I'm just going to believe in God type of thing and just let go and let God and just do it. And I'm hoping that it works out. And we'll see what happens, And luckily I have this channel so I could talk to you guys about it and we can say like, you guys can know the actual tea, As far as like how much I'm making on YouTube, it's definitely more than I usually would, but I have been making more videos, but it isn't that great. So I have to see what I can do, and hopefully the channel continues to grow, and hopefully I continue to get healthier and make more connections and do this other stuff. So, but I'm really excited about the David thing, the David era. I think it'll be fun, and it's always good to have connections like that on social media or on YouTube, because it is, a lot of people don't get it, you know. Whereas like I have experience with it, so it's not hard for me to understand that side of it. And it's not like super difficult to understand. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of times where if you want to go live with somebody or you want to talk to somebody about something, they don't have much to say, or like as a host, you really have to like do a lot to get something out of them. Whereas like I'm a pretty good guest. Like I've always been a good guest and that kind of thing. So I do think I have talent in this industry or in this. I just never committed. And it's scary to commit, because then if you fail, then you fail, you know? And to me, that is so scarring, and that's so not millennial, to actually commit to something and try and risk failure. So that's been hard for me, but that's really, I think, what this eclipse season represents. It represents a couple different shifts in my health journey, the end of, you know, even considering BED. Like I'm out of the acute recovery phase, I'm gooch. And it's like, what do I do now without these huge demonic things I've been fighting for like over a decade? I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now? You know, with my energy, with my time that I now have, you know, I could have a normal job now. I could do certain things now, or I could take a different path. So do you take the safe path or do you take the risky path? My messy ass is like, I'm gonna take the risky one, because I'm Pocahontas from Disney. No, I'm just kidding. I want to see what happens just around the river bend. I do. I don't want to take the safe course, steady as a beating drum. I want to take the weird, wild path. So I'm just going to do it. Just dive in. And I guess if I fail, I fail. But I mean, you can always just like get another job or something if it really doesn't work. So I'm being kind of dramatic, but I don't know. You guys are along for the ride. I appreciate y'all so much. But yeah, I have never been like unleashed, you know. I can always tell when customers don't tip because they know their card will decline. Ouch. That's scarring. When I say that, it's because I don't want anyone to talk to me. That's funny. I relate to that bot. I do. I definitely relate to not wanting to talk. But I also do like talking too. Like I am a social introvert. I just am an introvert. And I don't know. You know, it's been such a wild time. Like, I look forward to after this eclipse. It's like, what comes next? Like, I don't believe it's the end of the world. I don't think that we're all going to die. I don't think that things are going to be so horrible or whatever because of this eclipse. I just think that things are finally going to change. But I do think that those changes may take until June to show. So I do think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this eclipse is happening, da 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 da. And it's like, yes, the eclipse is happening, but it's probably not going to manifest anything until like the summer. Because ultimately, that Jupiter in Taurus, it's not going to allow that much change. So things ultimately will not change, which in some regards, it can make taking a risk easier, because like I can try to do YouTube full time and I'm not going to falter either. I'm not going to grow, but I'm not going to fall either. It's like we're in like this weird holding pattern. So it's like, it is probably one of the best times for me to take this leap, especially because I'm healthier and so I can keep it up. Because one of the biggest things with YouTube and with content creation is getting out of the flow and losing momentum. That's really what causes a massive damage to your social media and to this. And the thing is, like, I'm very consistent and I can be consistent as long as I'm healthy. And I am. Like, I'm healthier. So I don't think I'm going to have to stop again. You know, I just recently had to in like January, you know. Hasn't even been that long. And then my channel's grown a lot since February because my momentum is still growing, you know. Gosh, you guys, I really don't want to clean that bathroom, but I have to. But I don't think I'm going to do it on stream. So I might have to go. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And let's hope that this works out. I don't know. I really hope it does. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it, but I'm just trying to manifest and just kind of live the life and just go. I think so too, but just because I don't have that far to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to make 100K to survive. I don't have to, I barely, I can survive on barely anything. Yeah, I don't. So I think when you're in that position, it's just like, well, damn, if I can't do it, then who else could? You know what I'm saying? Or like, I don't know. I don't have any, like you said, I don't have a lot to lose. I don't even have a relationship. I have nothing. Which that is kind of scarring to say, but it's true. I have nothing, and there is a freedom in that. And so maybe I should think of it more so that way, because I don't have anything to lose and I don't really have much to prove. Like, I do care about my activism and I want to prove that case. But in terms of my personal life and in terms of like other people in my life or like that type of thing, I don't have anything to prove other than the seed oils are a problem and hypothyroid and all this stuff. That kind of stuff I do have to prove, but that's rhetorical. That's not like personal, or that's like scientific. It's not personal. So I think it's just interesting how that works. And it is interesting how much this eclipse has disrupted like my work. But also, like, I did the collab, so I think that energy of the eclipse, and maybe even God himself, he's pushing me more towards this path because it is opening up. And that will be amazing. I will definitely use it and do everything I can if it works out. So it's kind of exciting in a sense. I'm trying to just have a more positive mindset because it's difficult sometimes, But yeah, all I know astrologically too about this time is that Pluto in Aquarius is very much about doing what you intrinsically love, and that will get you the most money. Or doing what you actually like, that will get you the most money. Like with Pluto and Capricorn, it was very like what you hate the most will make you the most money. It's like the total opposite. Whereas I think Pluto and Capricorn or Pluto and Aquarius, you're rewarded for intrinsic enjoyment of your work. And I do intrinsically enjoy YouTube, even the bad parts, even the hate campaigns and the hate comments and stuff. Like I enjoy it because I like arguing. I enjoy argumentation. I enjoy the fight. And so it's like, this is probably going to be okay, because most of the time people they quit. Except to make our lives into a work of art. Oh my God. Is that Lanisha? Oh, Lana. I guess she had that era too, huh? She must have. It's a good point. I mean, there's fun in it. Yeah, there is fun in it, but it can be really awful too. So, because I kind of had my riot era. I'm not really in a riot era. Yeah, because I work really hard. Like, I'm always busy and I don't really have time either. But I had a riot era where I had a lot of time and I could do whatever. And I've experienced that before. Yeah, I get that, but yeah, I wouldn't consider this a riot era. This is like a shit, I got nothing going on. I'm just barely surviving. I guess just take the risk because you got nothing to lose, you know. I have a lot to gain and I have a lot I desire. So that's not true for me, Caleb. But I did have that before. Like I said, I've had a riot era where I didn't have anything to lose or anything to gain. I was just done. So I've experienced that before. Kind of glad I did all that when I was younger because I don't know. It's like you don't fall for that as much when you're older. Like you don't think of things that way. Because it's not that I don't have anything to gain, it's that I just don't. It's like with great risk comes reward. I think a lot of you guys are in Gen Z, which I think it's healthy to be in that era when you're actually young. It's not healthy to be in that era when you're like in your 30s. It's like, oof, like that's really scarring. I think when Lana wrote that song, she was young. It was like a young time for her. So it's like, and I had that time too. I think it's important because, especially with the Pluto and Aquarius, like you have to know what you actually want out of life. You have to know what you actually enjoy out of life. And it's difficult to do that if you are always living by other people's expectations. And I'm really sick of this narrative that the left doesn't have any expectations. Like they have drastically more expectations, actually. And I do think the right does have expectations too. And I think regardless, you have to like find that intrinsic motivation or what actually you have a passion for, what you actually want, what you actually want to do. And for me, like my ride era was a very philosophical era. It was a very like, what do I actually believe about the world? Let me challenge every single belief I have and see what it actually is. And I did. And I came to a lot of conclusions that I still, you know, my worldview is very solid, you know, and it's been, my ride era was like in 2016, you know, it's been like 8 years. And so, I don't know. It's interesting. Um, but yeah, that was when I didn't accept the left's expectations during that time because they wanted to tell me what to do and I said no because I had just left the evangelical side. I had just left it and I was like, I'm not going to give up my freedom that I just found, or I'm not going to go from listening to these expectations to listening to your even worse expectations or even more onerous expectations. And yeah, so, and I didn't. I still don't. Never worked, I guess. But I'm just hopeful that the struggle aspect is starting to be done, you know. I know it is on a physical and mental health level, it is. So I would assume that what follows is the financial level or the, you know, that other level, like level, practical level. I think it should follow the emotional or psychological and physical level getting better. I think that'll follow. So I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot to do. Um, But I'm gonna just keep going. So that's the eclipse. That's what it is for me anyway. I just ride. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not just riding. To me, the ride era is like a very passive era, right? It's like you literally are riding in a car. You're just like sitting and looking out the window. Like, and I was in that era. Like, I had that passive era, but I'm not passive at all. So this is not my ride era. This is like a totally different era. I'm hoping it's my 1989 era. I'm really hoping because I need some success here. I really do. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back at some point. You know, I'll be on my other channel. I'm going to be posting, and then I will be going live on Friday for sure. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back. Bye, guys. Happy eclipse.